Throughout this video series, you've been learning about how to sight read a melody which stays in the same key throughout by identifying the tonic and relating the other numbers of the major scale back to 1. In this video, we're going to extend that technique into melodies which change out of their original key, and the technical musical term for that is a modulation. Before we deal with any melodies actually written down, let's go back to the centering patterns and think about how this works orally. When you're singing a modulation, what you're really doing is just switching very quickly between two different centering patterns. For example, here are two centering patterns, one in C major and one in G major. Let's look at note D for a second. If we're singing it in C major, then that would be a 2-1. But in G major, that's a 5-6-7-1. In a modulation, notes that are common between the two scales you're moving between are called pivot notes. In this case, there are lots of pivot notes between C and G major, but the more extreme the modulation, the fewer pivot notes you're likely to find. Let's experiment with developing our aural ability when it comes to pivot notes. You'll hear a note played, and then two numbers appear on the screen. Using the given note as a starting pitch, sing the tail of the two notes that relate to the numbers, like this. 2-1. 4-3-2-1. Have a go at these ones. After each one, I'll show you how it should have sounded. Three, 2, 1, 7, 1. Five, 6, 7, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 7, 1. Having developed the aural ability to switch between keys, let's take a look at some melodies which change key and think about some techniques for singing them successfully. Try singing this melody. You'll notice that the tricky section comes in the third bar when the F sharp appears. One way to sight read that moment would be to think of a major third between the D and the F sharp, but that's quite a complex approach. Instead, I'd suggest using the pivot note approach that we drilled before. The first thing you need to do is identify the two keys that the music moves between. You can do that by looking for the accidentals. In this case, it starts in C major and moves to G major. Once you know the keys, find a place where you can pivot between them. In this case, I'm going to choose the G on the second beat of bar 2. From that moment, I'll be singing all the numbers in G major, so now it will sound like this. 1 1 7 6 7 1 7 6 1 5 7 1 2 4 3 2 1. Pause the video and have another go at singing through that melody, this time to the numbers with the pivot note starting on the G. Now try this example. I'll help you with the keys for this one. It starts in C major, then moves to F major. A good place to pivot between the keys would be the second bar. Pause the video and work out the relevant numbers, then try singing the melody through. Here's how it should have sounded. 1 3 5 1 2 3 1 5 4 3 4 2 1 2 7 5 1. Here's a slightly trickier one. This time, you work out the keys and where to pivot. Pause the video and have a moment to think about it. Here's how it should have sounded. 5 3 1 5 4 2 6 5 6 7 1 3 4 3 2 1. The music starts off in G major, then moves to D major. A good place to pivot would be on the A in the second bar. In this video, we've really only dealt with modulations to very closely related keys, but keep practicing the technique, and once you've mastered it, then you'll be able to apply it to more foreign tonalities. In the description below, there's a link to some resources that we've prepared, so keep going with those and you'll develop the technique even further.